Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson. Matthew Dickerson. Tech Talk. Sit back and relax. It's time to talk technology.
You're listening to Tony Graham on Binjang 91.5, and it's time for Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson. Hello, Matthew.
Happy New Year, Tony. Great to be chatting to you this year. I'm sure we've got lots of technology things we can discuss throughout the coming year.
Look, Happy New Year to you. And yes, we will do, that's for sure. It never stops, does it?
It doesn't. In fact, we've got too many stories now, Tony. There are too many things that have happened over the couple of weeks since we've last talked, so there are so many stories to talk about.
Look, that's very true. I sometimes really don't know where to start. But anyway, I've chosen 3 topics to discuss with you.
Excellent.
And the first one I thought was pretty much relevant to the situation we have in Wellington in particular, and that is to do with the very poor mobile phone service we have, particularly with Telstra. So now many Android phones are about to get satellite-capable connectivity, aren't they?
Yes, but it's not going to be as exciting as you might hope for, Tony. It's something that Apple announced for their iPhone 14 at the end of last year, where they said that there are times when people are in various situations out of normal mobile phone reception and they might need to make some emergency contact. So they made the announcement with the iPhone 14, it would have the ability to contact some satellite providers in emergency situations. Unfortunately, it was only related to North America and Canada at the time, but it would expand across the world. Well, Android phones are talking about the same concept. Qualcomm, which is used in a lot of Android phones, has got the ability on their premium Android smartphones to add satellite connectivity. And this is using Iridium. Iridium's been around for a long time. Back in about 97, they first started rolling out the satellite service. Now, the idea here, though, Tony, is not for you to say, oh, gee, my reception isn't that great here. I'll just walk outside where I can see the sky and make a phone call and have a chat to a few friends. It really is designed to send emergency text messages, receive some emergency text messages as well, but not really meant to be used for normal conversations. That may come at some point down the track, and of course there are satellite phones that you can buy, but satellite phones are typically a bit more cumbersome. They have a different antenna system. They're a bit different to a normal mobile phone, and they're using that satellite connection all the time. So it is good when you need to get some sort of text message in some sort of urgent situation and you've got satellite connectivity there. It's a great idea, but you're still going to need that normal mobile phone reception with normal mobile phone towers for your normal day-to-day usage.
Okay, so it's back to the drawing board there, unfortunately. I should have read the topic a bit more thoroughly. Anyway, I know you did, so that's the main thing. Our next topic is there's a ship taller than the Eiffel Tower which will build the biggest offshore wind farm. There's been a real progress in the technology associated with building wind farms, hasn't there?
Absolutely. And as we know, I mean, you've got 33 wind turbines there at Badangra, just outside Wellington. You see wind turbines on the land as you travel around, and those turbines are getting bigger. You're getting some of those turbines, you're getting up around 3 megawatt and even a little bit larger than that in some locations. But offshore wind farms, when you put them out in the ocean, they can make those turbines much larger. And you're getting to the point now where this latest wind farm off the northeast coast of England has got 14 megawatt wind turbines. So each turbine is a 14 megawatt turbine, which is huge. And obviously you've got a large span or a large swept area for a wind turbine that size, but you've also got to build the thing, and that's where this particular ship we're talking about is absolutely huge. It's designed specifically to build these offshore wind farms, so it's got 4 by 130 metre legs that basically go down to the sea floor, and then it reaches up in totality 336 metres. So it's a huge ship. And this is the sort of ship that you're going to see to build these large wind turbines. This particular ship will be used to build these ones off Dogger Bank, which, as I said, is off the northeast coast of England. This wind farm they're building will power 6 million homes in the UK. One wind farm, 6 million homes, so quite incredible there. this ship, if you want to book some time on this ship to go out and install some sort of wind turbines somewhere near where you want to put some in, Tony, this ship is booked out for the next 3 years. So it's pretty hard to get hold of that ship. But consequently, because of the demand that we'll see for wind turbines, wind farms offshore, there are 20 ships that are currently being built or being upgraded to do the same sort of thing. So expect to see more of these ships, more of these huge ships. The crane on this, Tony, can handle lifting components 3,200 tonnes. So it does sound quite incredible for a ship this size being able to lift that sort of weight, but this is what we're going to need when we see these huge wind turbines.
Well, that's just amazing. Now, online shoppers are being urged to avoid scams. In particular, there's an example of this, which is the Dotty scam. So tell us about the Dotty scam.
Yeah, and this is one of the ones where basically you get a very common site, and Dotty, fashion chain Dotty, is incredibly popular for its online shopping. And because it's so easy now to replicate something else, so another site, you're getting scammers who are creating a website that looks exactly like the Dotty site. So you go through and you think you're on the Dotty site. Some of the ways you used to be able to tell quite easily that it was a scam is you'd look at the domain name, and the domain name was something totally unrelated to the company that you're talking about. But they registered domain names that were very similar to the Dotty domain name, or they might have registered the identical domain name with a different extension. So they're making it harder and harder, scammers, to pick what's actually happening now in terms of some of these scams. So Dotty have put out a release to say, make sure that when you're going to our site, it's either dotty.com.au in Australia or dotty.co.nz in New Zealand. Anything else is not legitimate. When you go to pay for it, if it starts talking about different methods of payments, not credit cards, for example, using money orders, using other ways of transferring money, that's a bit of a red flag. But again, just look for all sorts of little tips. And again, it's so hard to pick them, Tony, because these scammers are getting better and better. It used to be you'd see all sorts of spelling errors, there'd be a terrible domain name, there'd be all sorts of obvious flags that you knew it wasn't legitimate. But now they're getting better and better at it all the time. Australians were taken for millions of dollars last year. And I suppose it seems a bit disappointing that we've got to keep talking about it, but I will keep talking about it, trying to make sure that people are aware of some of the issues that we're seeing with schemes and trying to stop them happening. But again, Dotty's one. This is the latest attack. Obviously, they attack popular sites. They attack ones that are out there being used by lots of people. And if they make it look good enough, people are going to fall for it.
Yeah. I guess it would be really helpful if people could block those sites once they realise that they're a scam site, just like you do with telephones. It really does help, because if everybody does that, they soon wear out the numbers that they're using. They've got to keep on changing their numbers all the time then.
Yeah, that's right. And they do that. They do actually have it set up so that those can be blocked. Those various domain names that are registered can be blocked. But it's so cheap and easy to register a new domain name now. So that might be a way of getting around it for a few hours, maybe a day, but then there'll be another one that pops up that'll be doing the same thing. And you're even using now some of the AI tools that are available to actually write natural English to try and catch some of the spelling errors, some of the grammatical errors that really make it obvious that something isn't quite legitimate. So there's all sorts of tools out there these scammers are using at the moment, Tony.
Yeah, that's right. And we've been listening to our first session this year of Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson on Binjang 91.5. Thank you, Matthew.
My pleasure, Tony. Looking forward to lots of chats throughout the year.
Fantastic. And now it's back to our normal program on Binjang 91.5.